Mark and Joey. We are the operators of Fans of Horse Racing. We're coming to you with a new feature today and ongoing. And we started up just so you know a little bit about us if you weren't at the beginning. Fans of Horse Racing was actually put together, Joey, to show the positive side of the sport, to show the human side of the sport. The horses get enough talk every day. They get talk during the races, leading up to the races, after the races. But we believe in really promoting as much as we can the positive part and the human element of the sport. So since June of last year, when we started this out on Twitter, is our main YouTube and Twitter are our main sources. We've been building the site, and we've now started to get to where people are enjoying the site and giving us some other suggestions. Would we do other things? So what we've done now is we have separated the jockeys and the drivers who do harness and thoroughbred, and we've now are setting up. Now this is going to be a big job for us, so we want to caution that it's going to take some time. But we're going to set up by racetrack. Only news about the jockeys and the drivers, which is where we started. We appreciate the jockeys and drivers. It's a dangerous thing to do. They have the race in their hands. They're the ones that control strategy and moves that happen during a race. We've always loved what they can do in the sport, and that's really what Fans of Horse Racing started out as. But now we're doing so much just positive stuff on the Fans of Horse Racing site that we've now moved to separating that joy by track.
Well, yeah, I mean, as a horse racing fan, you know how many tracks are running day by day, and so how many great things are being accomplished by trainers, horses, jockeys, announcers. We've always talked about announcers as well and the handicappers at each track. So there's so much good news going on right now in the sport, and it's at its highest point in a very long time, which is awesome. So we are doing these individual pages per track and celebrating the jockeys at those tracks and drivers at those tracks. With summary on how their days went. We do riding doubles, riding triples. We try to find as much news as possible and build those sites up so fans of those tracks, local fans, can always keep tabs on what's going on there. So we're super excited about it. We got a few up right now, looking to get as many as possible up that we can manage well enough.
It is a two-man operation.
It is a two-man operation.
And it's a full-time job that we're not getting paid for right now, so we do it as in between our regular work, so it's a big job.
Yeah, definitely. So we're certainly enjoying it. Those other pages have gotten some great reaction. We appreciate all the jockeys, trainers, and everyone who retweets our stuff, all our fans out there. So it helps us gain exposure and connect with people and be able to do more of these pages. And we're really happy about it. So now the bigger news is why are we doing the show?
Well, we've been asked now to start doing some handicapping. We were trying to keep it. We're going to keep it just to the entertainment part of the business. A lot of the followers of Fans of Horse Racing, which, by the way, is continuing. It's got nothing to do with the fan pages we have with the drivers and jockeys. Every day, all the news will be on Fans of Horse Racing. One of those things is going to start to be handicapping. So we looked at it and thought, wow, there's like a ton of races every day, as you guys know. And there's full-time teams that are doing all the races, and we just couldn't do it. But you are a professional gambler, not just in the horse racing world, but in the sports world. And we thought, what the heck, why don't we go ahead and give this a try and try to satisfy our fans?
Well, yeah, and we're going to have lots of stories, though, too, which is going to be kind of the cool thing about our handicapping, is that we do have a lot of stories from every track that is running. We've been to so many. Once drove all the way from Florida to Las Vegas. We got to stop in at lots of racetracks. And, so we're going to have some stories to go along with our handicapping. We're going to give some shout-outs also along the way here. But we thought we'd help you. And we'd help you on the biggest stage. I'm a specialist, I feel like, in stake races. In horse races, it's hard to call yourself a specialist in anything because, it's so difficult, obviously, to win. But if I like anything, it is stake races. Every horse is there for the big prize. You got all the top jockeys, top trainers. So many other angles you can add in. Not so much in a COVID world, but typically you have jockeys traveling everywhere for these big days as well. And it's when all the fans tune in and you get all the money wagered. So we're going to focus on stake races here. We have some strategies. We've handicapped some for you. And then also for fun to fill in time, we're going to give you some great stories about our travels. They've been lots of fun. We've been to so many racetracks. Everyone's so nice, and they all have their unique feature about them.
Right.
And so we're happy to do that as well and talk about them.
Yeah, that's going to be a part of it that kind of lends to our entertainment value that we try and show and all the positive things that happen in our great sport. And so you're going to hear and see about that as well. But this is going to be a stake races handicapping show. Don't join in. We want you to join in, but don't come here expecting the third race at Santa Anita, 10 claimer, and get the picks from that. You know, there's fantastic people at every racetrack that are specialists at those racetracks. So, you know, you're going to want to keep visiting their picks. Ours is going to be exclusively about stake races. As Joey was mentioned, the reason we like the stake races, above some of the stuff he said as well, the horses are all tuned up for that race.
Yeah.
You know that they're healthy. You know that they brought the best jockey in they can. You know the trainer makes his living and his new clients off winning stake races. That's what that's what gets them. So you know that everything's in place for the best thing. The other thing you're very good at, and as you said, it's hard enough to pick horses, but you're very good at analyzing horses going from track to track. And that's another thing I love about stake races. You can find some gems in there because lots of handicappers at their local track don't know about a horse that might be coming from what they would consider a smaller or not the same quality. And they get a little pissy about it and they don't bet the horse. So we've caught some big ones because of that.
Yeah, I mean, we've even caught a 60-1 shot before, and I look back and he won all 5 of his races. Yeah. But, you know, when you move him up in class, you know, possibly coming from allowance to a stake, you know, a lot of times they're undervalued unless for a trainer that's known to do that, which is, you think of the Pletchers or the Chad Browns, they always get respect regardless.
Yeah.
But with that being said, too, another
we've also caught some of those guys, big numbers.
I was going to say, we've caught Chad Brown at 5-1. You don't do that in an allowance race. You don't do it in a maiden special race. But in stake races, there's so many great horses. You can catch the top trainer at good odds. He might have 2 in the race. You know, you look at the second one. You know, speed figures are a big factor. Track bias, obviously, that's typical stuff. But I certainly like the fact that, I can catch a horse at 20+1 that's won every one of his races, but maybe moving up in class, coming from small track to big track. Yeah. But it fits his style. Maybe the track that day fits his style, and he goes on to win. You get big numbers. So that's where we like to focus on it. And the excitement around it's huge. You know, you just see, not that you don't see great effort all the time, but it's just, you can feel it, and we love watching those. So we love to have a little action in those big races as well. And it's just, it's just really enjoyable. So we're going to focus on stake races, my favorite to look at here, and it's going to be lots of fun. There's always a ton of them, and I've skipped a couple of tracks. They probably won't race, so I skipped them, and it's a big weekend. So I'm going to already shout out that I didn't do Laurel. It's supposed to snow pretty bad, so I didn't want to put in the hours to handicap Laurel, possibly get it snowed out, so we are skipping Laurel.
Can I take 2 seconds here on Laurel? Yeah. I mean, it'll come up again, but we went to Laurel on our way home last winter, 2 winters ago, actually. Yeah. And boy, what a beautiful racetrack like they put together there in the Stronach Group. And you ever get a chance, put Laurel on the bucket list. It was fantastic the day we went there. Really cool things. We love the dining rooms, like so spectacular.
Well, I think, I mean, what you're talking about more is like the upper levels now are amazing. It's very cool. It's definitely a guys' weekend thing that we want a bucket list because, you know, they got the loungers and the drinking upstairs, and it's a great view of the track, the whole track too, which is very awesome. It's definitely one. We have a video on Laurel. We'll post that as well. We've done videos on tracks. So we'll post those with these when we talk about them. Definitely check that out, though. We do. You got great video of Laurel. You can see the upstairs of what we're talking about, the views, the chairs, you know, the fun you can have on a great weekend there.
Well, talk about the great people in horse racing. That day we got there early, and I was filming, and the security guard come over and said, "Who are you? What are you doing here?
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. You can't film in the wagering area or whatever." We're expecting to get kicked out. Instead, their main manager of security comes over and says, "What are you doing?" I told him, "Well, we have a podcast, Twitter, all this kind of stuff." He said, "Oh, let me take you around." So there we were before the races, and he toured me the whole track. It was fantastic. And just as a testament to the great people that work in horse racing as well. So
definitely,
I've got some great video from there.
Totally, and he was giving you everything.
I know.
It's awesome. You know, you love it when employees are so passionate about where they work, and he definitely was that way. The problem was we started out with all the TVs and the handicapping, so he was wondering what we were doing, but it turned out to be a fun day. They also have an esports thing. Yeah. Anyways, we don't want to spend the whole time on Laurel, but it's a great track. We have videos. We're going to spend time on some other tracks as well. Yeah. But let's get into it.
Yeah, and just so you know, every week won't be this in depth. This is our first show. Trying to get it to you. So again, Fans of Horse Racing. This is part of the Fans of Horse Racing company that we have. And we're so happy to bring that to you. So let's get started, Joey. We're going to start with Fairgrounds, which is another racetrack that we've been to. I think you have the most races handicapped there today, coming up here on the weekend. Yeah. So, we love Fairgrounds. Unfortunately, we went on kind of a wet, damp day there, which was too bad. But we did a video on it. So again, I'm not going to explain it all here to you. We'll put the video online so you can watch it at your leisure, and it'll take you over to our YouTube channel. It's very easy to watch. And but we just really enjoyed it. We went there, and like I say, it wasn't the best of days, but nice setup there, nice outdoors, which is what we're always looking for. By the way, we don't watch the races on TV if we don't have to. I mean, COVID's changed all of that, but we love going to the racetrack, and you see some of that in the videos that we've done. So that's a big part. We want to recommend that before you're talking about anything else. Try and get out to the races. Get out on stake days. It's so cool. The crowds are there. You know, it's really a fun atmosphere. Sometimes it's not as exciting on a Wednesday afternoon when the crowds are smaller, but all the stake races will have you just loving your day at the racetrack. So anyway, Joey, I'm going to turn this over to you with your fairground picks.
Yeah.
And hope you guys do well by it. Just remember, as much as Joey's an expert, it's difficult to pick stake race winners. But it does open up long shot opportunities that we love to do.
Yeah, and yeah, you talk about fair. It was a very historical track. I think that was really the coolest thing. But yeah,
a lot of the pictures inside, very cool.
We'll get these links up, and you guys can check out the videos. We know there's a lot of fans of every track. You're all passionate about your home track, so we love that. Yeah, so we're looking at the Colonial Power Stakes here. It's race 7 at Fairgrounds. You guys have got a big day out there, many stakes, so it's going to be super exciting. I was reading a lot of pick 5 opportunities in the future. We're not doing that. I'll just go race by race real quick here and kind of look at my favorites. In the first race at race 7 at Fairgrounds, I'm looking at number 3, Just Might. And as I followed this track, and you know, most tracks really kind of promote the front end bias. I'd say the ones with Tapeta allow a little bit more off the pace. Golden Gate, I know out in California, allows that. But most of these are front end bias, and you're looking at Fairgrounds, despite weather possibilities, and there is going to be some wind, I'm looking at a front end bias here, and Just Might is the horse to do it for me. He's been a very consistent player on the top end. He's finished 2nd, 3rd, always up there. You know what he's going to do every time, so he's going to go to the front. And really, at the end of the day, no favorites are going to be up there with him, so he's just going to have to hold them off, come towards the finish line. But I love him a lot. He's got a top jockey in Colby Hernandez, and I just think this is a good spot for him to get out in front and hold on this time on the turf. Only 5.5 furlong race. So if he gets lucky, no one going out with him, which is what I see, because the favorites are off the pace types of horses, he might turn those last 2 races that were seconds into a win. And he loves the track, both at Fairgrounds, both 2nd places. When it's a turf horse, more than even dirt, but turf horses, the turf matters. Liking it really, really matters. So I'd watch out
everything. For
number 3, Just Might, back-to-back seconds at Fairgrounds. Just might have enough in the tank this time to hold off the closers, which is what I think is going to happen.
And guys, just so you know as well, we're going to be giving some tips as we go along here. I mean, Joey's going to be doing in-depth handicapping, but just a tip here is what we call lone speed.
Right.
And this is a big tip that Joey has for you. When you see a horse is going to get out on the front end by himself, which he just talked about there, you'll be shocked sometimes when the favorite gets beaten, because if he gets out there and controls that pace, he can get not an inferior horse, but not the one you would normally think of, to the finish line first. So look for that. It's tip number 1 here as we get into stake races. And that's more prevalent in stake races because sometimes the other jockeys aren't ready for what that horse might do if he's coming in from out of town or whatever. But look for lone speed wherever you can.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing and why it happens in stake races too is they're just better. So when they get to the lead, you know, they know what to do. But I think that's why I like this horse. It's a local horse, like I said back before. Same jockey, he's going to go to the front, and 5 furlongs, all you need is like no one to pressure you, and next thing you know, they just don't have enough time to catch up. So that's why I really like that. And biases, wind is number 1. People don't talk about it enough, but wind matters. I play the wind all the time, and if we get the right wind, then he'll go away easily because I know what he's doing. He's going to the front, and that's what he's going to do, and hopefully hold on this time.
And if you don't think wind matters, go outside in front of your house. Not today. We're from Toronto, which if you follow our Twitter account, you know that. We just got like a dumping of like 1.5 feet of snow here, and so you know how much weather can impact anything, but it's also really windy. And Joey, we get a 5-kilometer walk in every day, and that whole walk changes depending on whether the wind's in our face or behind us. So horses feel the same way. They get to the top of the lane, and they got to fight the wind all the way down the lane, or they don't have to fight the wind down the lane. Changes how that race may set up and how that race may run. Yeah,
it's so impactful in my opinion, and I don't think it's talked about enough. So for me, that definitely helps. Okay, so we're looking at now. I did 3 horses every race, so let's look at number 1. His name is Manny Waugh, and this horse won last time out, beaten Just Might in the exact same race. Came closing off the pace here, and that's why I like him again, because it could be exactly a carbon copy. There's no reason why it shouldn't. Back on turf, back at the same distance, similar competition here. You get another good price on him. but will most likely come from last in order to win this race. So I'm thinking more like top 2, top 3, because when you come from last, you need a lot to go right for that to happen. But I do like him here. Do not be shocked if he pulls off another upset. If the pace gets going, he'll come by, but he needs everything to go right. I don't like horses that have to come from last. You need someone.
Traffic can be a big
You're
problem.
also making a mistake if you don't think you'll hit the exotics.
Right.
And that's why you got to watch out. So number 1, Manny Wah, watch out for top 2, top 3 finish. He'll be coming hard at the end if everything sets up for him like last time, which I think it will. So very interesting play there. But I'm more going to use him for the exotics. I hate having a win bet on a horse that's coming from last. It's exciting, but it really bothers me. Number 5, turn aside, is Mark Casse horse, who we know from Woodbine.
Yep.
A local guy, and has top jockey and Adam, don't know, Bisqueza, we'll give that a go. 20% jockey. You got top connection. When you got top connection in stake race, you always got to pay attention. They're not making mistakes on where to put the horses. They're putting their horses there to win.
And one of the things you said right there, Mark Casse has like 150 horses.
Oh,
He's put them in places. I was listening to an interview with him actually that they did at it wasn't at Woodbine, but they did an interview about Woodbine obviously and all that. And he says, I find the right places for horses to go. I got 150 to figure out where they're going to race. So he said in the interview, every time I'm racing, that's the right spot for that horse. So always be aware of that. So there you go. Another thing to do is listen to interviews because you hear these little nuggets that he doesn't just put horses anywhere. He's got thoughts in mind as to where everybody's going.
Well, I mean, I think that's important for all the top trainers. They're not wasting time. They don't have time to waste. They got owners that want to win. So you look at this horse. He's won 2 of his last 3. He's a guaranteed top 3 play for me, so don't miss out on him. He's a potential win, so if you're doing the bigger pick 4s, you have to have him included. He's coming from Aqueduct, which would be kind of an Aqueduct and Saratoga, which I believe would be rated higher than Fairgrounds. So he's bringing the most class. The only reason he's going to be stocky. So I'm basically saying number 3 is going to win simply because he's going to go on the front and go gate to wire, is my opinion. But this horse has definitely have a good chance to nip him because he's going to be stalking the pace here. He'll be 4th or 5th. He'll close pretty well. Not as much needs to go right for him because he'll already be mid-pack. So he's definitely an upset potential here. But I'm guaranteeing a top 2, top 3 for him. So make sure you include him in your exotics. He has the class. He'll stalk. He can win. He's won 2 of his last 3. Got the connections. You don't want to miss out on this one. And they're making a morning line 4-1. So I think that's definitely something you got to take advantage of.
Too, yeah.
And so I'm basically saying the favorite number 4 is Striving Kid 5-2. I'm not taking him only because I don't want him in there. He has a lot of seconds. He has 14 wins and 48 starts, but recently it's been a pile of seconds. He hasn't won his stake in a little bit of while. Very consistent horse. I'd include him, but I don't think he's going to win. He looks shy of the winner's circle. He hasn't raced up at Fairgrounds. He's been racing at Gulfstream, which has been better weather. I'm a little nervous about him. I'm going to leave him off the ticket, and I'm going to go with 3, 1, and 5.
Well, you know what? I like that, Joe. Coming from really warm weather. You and I hate that. We're normally in Florida this time of year, and they can't do it this year with COVID. But we know what it's like with the cold and the snow, and you're coming from really nice climate. It doesn't affect every horse, but it could if it's really bad weather.
It affect me,
yeah, and it's really cold. It could be a difference maker.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna leave him off the list. It's a bit, like I said, a bit of a kind of a long shot in the opposite mentality, taking the favorite out of your top 3. But I'm gonna leave him off and then take a chance there. All right, we look at race 9, the Albert Stall Memorial Stake race. So it's another good one. By the way, great fields, 12 horses.
Yeah,
it's awesome, great fields. Number 7. So I'm on HBI. If you're in Canada, go on HBI. You could star, make notes. I'm sure you can on other ones as well.
It's HBIBet.com, right?
HBIBet.com. Create an account if you're in Canada. You can make as many notes as you want. Star them. It helps you keep track. I'm sure you can do other stuff on other sites as well. So make sure you take advantage of that. I've done that here with number 7, Dalika. I am all for him in this one. Again, I'm looking at potential lone speed, but this time in a mile and 1/16. So I'm looking at maybe getting fractions like 24 and 48, and he'll be able to take off down the stretch here. I love front end because at least I know what's going to go on with him. He's going to try to get to the front, and if he can create something slow fractions, you don't need as much to go right as you do off the pace. So you're going to see a little bit of a bias from me on that.
Well, it's always been successful for us, so
yeah. So
great.
But the biggest thing here is all the favorites. Now there's going to be long shots potentially to go to the front. Long shots always mixed up in stake races, but the favorites will come off the pace. So I'm thinking he's the 3rd favorite in the race. He's going to go to the front. Other favorites have to come off the pace. If the long shots back off him, which I hope they will and respect the odds of this horse and the quality of this horse should be able to get on the front by himself and maybe create slow enough fractions. I think he will, to then make this mile and 1/16 race rather easy and then go gate to wire and win by a couple. So I'm going with number 7, Dalika, because of the front end speed, lone speed potential. Other favorites are coming off the pace, and I'm thinking the long shots will lay off the front and he'll be able to go gate to wire there. 5 wins and 17 starts, so the trainers are definitely happy with his production right now. Hit the first and second in 9 of 17.
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
you can ask for more than that,
you love
right?
those odds. Especially for the owner.
Yeah, no kidding, right? So then we got number 3, who's the closest long shot for me, and really at the end of the day, 10 to 1 on a horse that just won a stake 2 months ago. At Fairgrounds, he won. He's won 2 of his last 3. Versatile horse, has been on turf, been on dirt, back on turf.
Who's
here.
the jockey here, Joey? That's another
Well,
thing
there
we
you
look
go.
for.
Star jockey Brian Joseph Hernandez Jr. I have him start. He's a very quality jockey. Can definitely figure out a trip for this guy. Like I said, I love any horse that just won as well.
Yeah.
I don't care that it's going from a little bit to a higher stake. They don't know that necessarily. They might experience it when the horses go by them.
Knows with them.
But you know, when he gets going, the horse doesn't know that he moved up a class. So I always like a horse, and again, at the same track with a good jockey, in my opinion.
And these kinds of mid-range horses, I always like to have a great jockey on them because they can work out a trip for them that maybe no one's thinking of right now, but he, as the race gets going, he's got to make those decisions. So always important in these stake races to have a quality jockey there who's going to maybe have to make some strategy changes during a race depending on what's going to happen.
And this filly can close. So, like I said, I went with Lone Speed as my top pick, but this filly can close. So top 3, top 2 exotics at 10 to 1 with a top jockey. I'll take that any day of the week and to add value to my ticket. The third horse here I picked was number 5, Room to Finish. And this is again.
One sec, guys.
Okay.
No, go ahead.
Okay. He got good connections here. He loves Fairgrounds turf, going first and second in his last 2 stake wins. At this level again, will close strong and should battle for a top 3 finish paycheck. So again, I think very much enhancing your ticket here at 8 to 1 can close and be very productive in this race. I don't know why he's 8 to 1. Going first and second in his last 2 at Fairgrounds, similar class. I think that's very important here. I know the Brad Cox horses are getting love, so that's why he's going off at 8 to 1. But again, how do you not include a horse that's been that consistent at a track he loves, on a turf he loves, at least to your exotics? So I'm thinking 3 and 5 close to the 7 holding on for a narrow victory is my prediction there. All right, we got lots here at Fairgrounds. I'm going to just do these 3 at Fairgrounds, and then we'll move on to another track here.
Yep, sounds good.
So this one was race 10, Mineshaft. And the reason why I'm picking these 3 is that they're actually my favorite. I know the races a little bit later on are actually more famous, but these were my favorite ones to pick. So you got Mineshaft here.
Well, it's a good point here again. Don't get blown away by the race. Get blown away by the horses and how you feel, right? Like, I don't really care if I win a 10 claim or a stake race.
Right.
For the show, we're doing stake races, but don't get enamored. Don't overbet on a race that you're not comfortable with. That's the other thing I like about betting stake races. The race is great anyway, but still take your money. It's coming out of your pocket.
Yeah.
Do the races you feel great about and win them, and then you watch a stake race if you want to. It would be great.
Yeah, it's a great point. Great point. And here, number 10, the reason why I want to handicap is because there's a 4 to 5 morning line favorite. And really, at the end of the day, I'm just here to tell you he is a lock. And you should single him in any of your tickets. It's hard to say that in horse racing, but at the end of the day, you got top jockey, top trainer, a horse has gone back-to-back in his last 2 races. I see nothing changing here. So I'm just here to say, lock him in, use him as a single in any pick 5, pick 6, whatever you got rolling. He will win this race. Number 4, Maxfield, takes this one simply, in my opinion, at Fairgrounds. So I basically wanted to come on here and just confirm that for you. 4 and 4 lifetime. I mean, how lucky are you to be the owner of this one?
One thing you got to look for, too, is a little bit of value, guys. A 1 to 5 shot is not worth putting your money on. Put him in some exotics if his odds are lower like that. But certainly don't go and bet. But you never know, because we've seen 4 and 5 that go up 2 to 1 and 5 to 2 because somebody else thinks another horse is hot for whatever reason.
Yeah.
So you want to be watching. Joey said he's a lock. So you got a winner here. Don't bet him. He's 1 to 5. Use him in exotics. If he's on top in exotics, add some value in behind him. It's one of the things that we've known for years is adding value behind a lock. And there's a lot of people that look for 10 to 1, 15 to 1 backup horses to a lock bet.
Well, and with that being said, I think you can, I don't know what it's going to pay at the time, but Wells Bayou number 2, you got John Velasquez, who's coming in from Gulfstream with Brad Cox here. If you want to do a little exactor, depending on what Wells Bayou and Maxfield go off at, those are my lock for a top 2. I think Wells Bayou is due for a big one. Last time at Fairgrounds, $1 million stake race. Third last time out, so he'd be the one I'd back it up with. But I'd go Maxfield in your pick 5s, pick 6s, pick 4s, move on, and look at other races. But I just wanted to say, I believe he's the real
Well, and another great point there, you mentioned John flying in, so that's another thing we
John
talk
Velasquez,
a lot about, is guys who fly in, because guess what? They don't do it for nothing.
Yeah,
so
well, especially in the COVID world.
He's in there with all the things you have to go through. He's in there expecting to win. Like Joey says, he thinks he's got a lock, but John backed up right behind him might be a great exactor to pick up, a straight exactor. We love John because he rode Authentic.
John Velasquez, yeah.
We own a tiny part of Authentic, so we like John whenever we see him.
Definitely. Holds a good place in our hearts for the Authentic racing. All right, guys. Well, let's go over to Golden Gate because it's the big day, the El Camino Real Derby at Golden Gate. They got one stake race, but they've pulled in a bunch of great horses. All their jockeys are there, but $100,000 stake at Golden Gate. It's a big one on Saturday, so I thought I'd handicap it. Shout out to our friend Matt Dinnerman. Yeah. He's, well, you can tell, he's retweeted a bunch of stuff.
Well, we went to Golden Gate a couple years ago on our infamous trip.
We did, yeah.
And we love Golden Gate. It was a really great day. Really kind of what we found there is we were not in the business at the time. So we didn't get to everybody. We didn't get to...
We'd love to go back and meet Matt. He was such a nice guy on Twitter.
At that time, we were kind of just fans. We were traveling across the country. We didn't have any of this. So we didn't do the greatest job of trying to get a hold of people and get insight. But we did get some great shots from there. We had a great time while we were there. Matt is hooked up with us now, and we're retweeting each other's stuff all the time. We'd like to put that out to any racetrack, actually. Yeah. We'd love to connect with you and share and retweet and get the information about all the tracks out to all of our fans. So take advantage of that. But shout out to Matt. Love the track there, and the view behind the track's amazing.
Well, and he does a great job handicapping and announcing. Yeah. He does it all there. He's a one-man show.
He's a busy boy, yeah.
Shout out to him. Great guy on Twitter, and hopefully one day we'll get to meet him. But we definitely enjoy watching Golden Gate and watching him pick and call the races. He doesn't.
And not a bad place to visit.
Yeah, no kidding. All right, guys. So the El Camino Derby. Let's look at it. I have number 5. I'm gonna butcher the name. Petruccio. You need to get on this.
Yeah,
I'm the handicapper. You gotta get the announcing.
I'm not gonna be of much help either.
As top jockey, top trainer, is the third favorite in this race based off the morning line odds. Anyways, it's my pick to win. Mostly again, he should be near the lead, most likely stalking, but he might be able to take it over. There's not a ton of pace in this one. Now Golden Gate does typically favor off the pace, but anytime a horse can get slow enough fractions, I feel like it doesn't matter what the track bias is. Yeah. A lot of times you can figure it out. But at worst case, should stock. So versatile here. He can pick or choose the jockey and what he wants to do, but definitely going to be closer than other horses.
I don't know if you mentioned, who is the jockey?
Irving Orozco.
Okay.
Orozco. Orozco. So lots of O's. Anyways, good young jockey. He's been very good. Rolling right now at a 15% clip. So that's very impressive. Trainer Richard Mandela is running at a 23% clip. So we know we got some good connections there. I had this horse starred. He won his maiden 2 back, finished third at Los Alamitos last time out at a higher stake race. There's some other horses with class in this race, but I definitely think he'll be able to take over the lead at the stretch, and all the closers would be the favorites. I just don't think they'll get there in time. So this horse, versatile, I like it. Can go to the lead if no one's gonna. But at worst case, he'll sit off a few long shots, which we have lots of. Yeah, and we have lots of long shots because we have 3 pretty heavy favorites. We'll sit off those guys. I think we'll take the lead, and then by the time the bigger favorites try to close, he's going to be too good and hold them off down the stretch. So number 5 is my pick to win the race here. But let's look at the other ones. Let's look at the big favorite, Romp Bauer. He's the morning line favorite to no surprise. He's raced in higher stake races. He looks pretty impressive. Coming over from Michael McCarthy and top jockey Kyle Frey, who, shout out to him, he's very good on our tweets too, and we tweet about him a lot because he wins a lot, guys. Pay attention.
If any of you viewers are from the racetrack and working at the track, get your jockeys and drivers to get a Twitter account so we can promote them more.
Well, yeah, and Kyle has one, and I mean,
Kyle's been great.
I mean, he's a real deal. Since Juan Hernandez actually left to go to the bigger track, Kyle's taken over as the top guy here at Golden Gate. He won the last meet. He's 26% right now, so it's obvious on why Rompbauer is a favorite. He's bringing in class. He's bringing in top connections. I'm afraid of a horse that needs so many things to go right. And at the end of the day, He will not be engaged early. He will be back. Now, I think Kyle might be willing to make a move a little bit sooner. More importantly, can they go as far wide as they want, still be good enough to win? That's the big question Rompauer's going to have to answer for me.
Right.
If you could take a horse and go to the middle of the track, you don't need many things to go right if he's that much better. But it's a lot of ground to cover. I'm thinking second, but he is the favorite. And be aware that, you should include him if you're going to use him in like a bigger tickets. But I think he might be upset here by the number 5 just because, again, so much has to go right. And the amount of times we used to curse on TV by not learning about lone speed, and we took the favorite coming off the pace. It's just a bad feeling for me.
But he'll likely be second. Coming off the pace, he'll pick
almost a guarantee to be second.
He'll pick up all that. So you can get yourself a great ticket by taking a bit of a long shot onto the favorite. It's one of our favorite angles that we use all the time. Especially when that favorite's coming off the pace.
Yeah, and really here, I think you can include the number 7, which is all 3 favorites. You can almost box all 3 favorites for their own try. I just don't see much competition other than these 3 favorites. They bring in the most experience in class. But he's another horse that, will be more mid-pack, which I like a little bit better than coming from last. So number 7, Javancia, will be mid-pack and should close. He has like 4 seconds in a row. So, I mean, if you're not including him in your exotics, then that's bad handicapping. He has a bunch of seconds. He's just shy of the winner's circle. So, for me, I'm never going to take a horse that's proven he's shy of the winner's circle. And that's really what it's been like so far. You got 5
I've
starts.
owned a lot of horses that have been way too shy of the winner's circle.
Yeah. And, he has 5 starts and only 1 win, which was his maiden breaker. But since joining the state competition, 3 starts, 3 seconds.
Yeah. Still lots of money.
I know, but I'm not going to put my money on him to win. I'll take him in the exotics. Guaranteed top 3 play here, as all favorites are. But I'm going to go 5, 8, and 7. It's just the favorites, but the 5 on top for me to get the moderate upset.
Yeah.
And, you might be able to get some value there. If you're looking for a long shot play, Positivity is the one. Horse number 1, Positivity is going to be on the front. And I just think...
Well, I just like the way he makes me feel.
Positive, right? So I mean, how are you upset
We're
about
going to give him a chance. Give him a chance.
He does have 2 wins in 5 starts, including a stake win at 5.5 furlongs. So he's gone shorter. He's going a mile and 1/8 this time, but it tells you he's going to go in the front. So the only way I think he wins this one is, again, they let him go. And if they let him go, I know the track's biased to more a little bit off the pace here because the stretch so long at Golden Gate. But if they let him go, he just might be able to pull off a minor upset. Positivity, horse number 1. I definitely pay attention to him. Maybe include him in the exotics. But he's really a long shot for me, but might be worth a backup.
And this is a big tip as well, guys, is that when you're looking at horses going from 5.5, 6 furlongs out to maybe a mile quarter in their front end horse, you might say there's no way they can hold on. But strategy is different in the races, and he might get out to the lead and slow everything down because everybody's waiting for the end of the race to make a move and things like that. And all of a sudden you go, oh my God, look at the fractions. So don't dismiss sprinters who move out to longer distances because now they can work out a better trip. Possibly everybody's just going to wait for them and not believe that they can go far enough, and they'll leave him alone on the front, and then he gets the right fractions. All of a sudden he's winning wire to wire, and you're going, what the hell? He just came out 5.5 furlongs. But the race is different. Remember, the strategy is different between that and a shorter race, and it can change how that race sets up.
Yeah, and we'll see if he's built for this. When the 5.5 furlong horse goes to the front and he's going, wow, this is easy.
Yeah.
There's no one here. I'm just by myself, chilling. Jockey's able to control him but not choke him. And then they're able to just push on and get the victory. Pay attention to biases. By the time this race comes, you've seen a lot of races at Golden Gate. It's race 8. So, you'll know if the front end's holding up. And if it is, then Positivity is more than just a long shot. He's a
player.
That's a perfect word for it. He's a player for this race. So watch the biases throughout the day. I'd like to do that. Stake races are typically near the end of the card.
Let all the fans get there.
Yeah, at the end of the card. So pay attention. If there's a bias at Golden Gate and you're seeing front hold up, going 5 furlongs to a mile and 1/8, he already has a stake win, so he's caliber.
Yeah.
Positivity, number 1, the real Camino Derby can definitely get that done. So he's my long shot play. I'm going to probably include him in some exotics and stuff like that. I think it's still going to be coming the favorites race. Just watch it in case the wind's producing a certain style of winner on the day. All right, well, let's go over to where we want to be in our favorite track. Tampa Bay Downs, one of our favorite tracks here, Tampa Bay Downs. We love Tampa Bay Downs. We've been there plenty of times. We love going, you can go to the corner that starts the stretch, which has been lots of fun. Well, you talk about it while I read my notes.
Well, yeah, read your notes there. But what Joey was just talking about, first of all, the weather's amazing. We're so missing the opportunity to be down there in Florida and be able to go to Gulfstream and to Tampa Bay. And but one of the things Joey's going to talk about there, and we're going to talk about viewing at a racetrack. we go down to the far last, around where the turn's going. You can't get there at every track, but always try. That's where the most action is happening. The jockeys are getting on their horses, trying to get the win, and it's real fun to be there. It's usually kind of packed at that last turn as they're all making moves to win. And you know what? You can watch the video on your phone, so you still know who's going to win. But you're up there at that last turn and getting some tremendous action. We do it at Tampa Bay. It's beautiful. They also have a really nice, right beside the paddock, really nice area to sit. It's warm. You have your picnic tables there. They got, I don't know, 20 TVs inside this this tented area. And so it's a lot of fun to go to Tampa Bay. But we recommend you do that. Even Gulfstream, which we're not going to talk about today, on the stake races, has the same advantage. You get right up by that last turn. So turn your phone on, watch the race on your phone, and get up right near where the action is.
Yeah, definitely. We certainly enjoyed it. You know, I love hearing the noises and what they're trying to do, and you know, getting them fired up for the stretch there. So just a couple of different points of view. So I love Tampa Bay a lot. We love it.
Yeah.
So definitely check it out. If you ever go to Tampa Bay Downs, check it out. And
they have fantastic chicken fingers and fried deal. It's a fantastic deal. We're always looking for that much fun. And they have a good crowd all the time. It's one of the other things I love about Tampa Bay. It's always a good crowd. I don't know. It's 90 degrees. It's sunny. So they benefit from that. But every time we've been to Tampa Bay, doesn't matter what day of the week or anything, the crowd gets a little bit bigger. But it's always big. It's always a great crowd.
Yeah, Tampa Bay is always packed. I don't blame them. It's just beautiful out there. So Tampa Bay Downs, check it out. But here we go. We got the Minorette Stakes, race number 3 there at Tampa Bay Downs, so a little bit early in the card. And I got a lock for you. Number 1, Higher Sale. Higher Sale. God, these names are.
I don't know my glasses. I can't even help you.
Can we just call them John and Bob and Tim? Anyways, Higher Sale, number 1, 8-5 favorite. You know, I'm no bold prediction here, but he's gonna win is what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I think you can key him in a lot of your picks.
I'd love it. A bank would give me 8-5 money on my money, so
yeah.
I'm not ashamed of an 8-5 favorites as a lock.
Sorry, it's a mare. So, but she will be the favorite. She might be even money 4-5. I'm just saying you can use her in your bigger tickets. I think it's a lock here. Antonio Gallardo is one of the best jockeys at Tampa Bay every single year, rolling at 24% right now. I mean, you can never go wrong with picking him. But I love the combination. The real fact is, you know, she's won 2 of his last 3, including winning easily at a higher stakes last time out at Tampa Bay Downs. So likes the track, won easily, can stalk, be on the lead, so on and so forth. I just think she's going to win for sure. 7 for 20 in her career. It's a lock in my opinion. You can add her to, like I said, as a key single. You can also add an easy double exactor, which will be the 2 favorites. The exactor will be 2 favorites. No one can hang with number 1, number 2. Number 2, Bronx Bomber, bringing the most class. I don't think has enough to get it done on the win, but these 2 are by far the best in the race. No one else in this race has even really contended even in allowance races right now. So number 1, number 2 are locks to be top 2. I'm going number 1 to win this race. Key it up. Use it, and don't spend any extra money that you don't have to, because no one's beaten her today.
Well, another good point, Joey, too. A lot of times people think exactors, you got to put 3 horses in a box, you got to, open the field, whatever. One of our best plays is when we have 2 favorites that are looking, you're that strong on them. Just take all the money you'd be wasting with all this other stuff and take it all there and box the 2 top favorites. You're going to get decent money. Now, again, we go back to 1-5 is different. But if you go, 8-5, maybe on even money, 8-5, on to 2-1, whatever, put the 2 of them together, get $10 or $11 in your exacta, but you can bet bigger money and get that. So don't be afraid of missing sometimes. It's going to happen. But when you have 2 horses after your handicapping that you love, go ahead and just bet them as an exactor box.
Even bet it straight. Like go bet 21-2. It's better than betting the 1 to win or the 2 to play. It's like, I mean, when you really think about it, you could sometimes, a $2 exactor pay $6. I don't understand that. That's still 3 times your money.
Oh yeah.
People don't look at it. They go, oh, that's too little, because people think of exactors as $200 paydays all the time. This is a lock in my opinion. 1-2. You can box it up, do it straight, but they're going to be the best in this race. So there you go, race 3, the first leg at Tampa. You can lock that in my opinion, for your tickets. The second stake race is the Pelican Stakes, race 9, way later in the card. I think it's going to be a good one. I'm going with the 7-2 shot, Cool Arrow. Now that's a good name.
Yeah,
Cool Arrow. I've had him starred here with notes. has been really bad of late. So you're going to get a better price than before. Now, my only concern is he is 7 years old. So is he going bad or is he going to find his old form? I'm going to bank on finding his old form.
Some of us older guys, we don't always fade away.
Like Steve Stricker in golf. Antonio Gallardo again. I just see him. I see this horse getting its old form, which was 3 wins in a row not too long ago, back in September, August, and June. So I'm hoping he finds that form, can win the race, be very confident. I think without a doubt he's in the mix, but I think he pulls off the upset today. Cool Arrow and Antonio Gallardo are going to win, and you're going to get a better value simply because he's looked bad last 2 times. That makes people shy away. To me, that opens up a green light where I am now going to get maybe 4-1, maybe 3-1 on a horse that could be easily even money if he was in better shape from the races before. So he's versatile, likes to be near the lead, probably not on it, but right there on the hip of the horse.
And let's face it, trainers don't like to lose stake races. They don't bring in ill-prepared horses. That's why we like them, right?
Yeah.
So, he's going to have all the best attention coming into this race. The fact he's lost a little bit, maybe a little bit of form, that's what trainers are there for. I mean, that's what their job is, and they do tune them up great for stake races.
Yeah, so as I say, he's going to be on the butt of the horse in front of him. That horse in front of him is going to be the favorite, Edgemont Road. And again,
funny, we used to live on Edgemont Road.
Well, you have to include him. He's going to be on the front. He's fast. He's going to get to the lead, and he's going to be fast. So really, I'm just banking on him fading down on stretch a little bit. The 2 past him maybe nips him by a nose or maybe even a photo finish. But number 6, the favorite's going to be on the lead. You can guarantee that. He's going to go fast. If the bias is working for him, he might just simply go on to win and romp this field.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping maybe that they battle a touch. He goes maybe a little too fast, and the 2 Cool Arrow can pull it off. Regardless, including number 6, he's going to be right there.
Who's the jockey in 6? I can't even read it.
Hector Diaz, rolling at 18%.
Yeah.
So pretty good there. Trainer, although only at 8%, Eddie Keneally, only 8% right now. But this horse is coming from Keeneland, so I mean that's class. Going to Tampa Bay. So and won easily last time at Tampa Bay, albeit an allowance race. Won rather easily. But the one thing you can bank on, man, is he's going to the front. But I'm liking number 2 to be right on his butt and then just go right by him at the end there, get a close win. If you're looking for a strong closer, I'm looking at number 5, Chivalry. So he's going to be in the exotics for me. Roberto Alvarado Jr. actually upset us in the Preakness. He rode the filly there, got it done. But I'm going number 5, Chivalry, as maybe a top 2, top 3. If anyone's going to beat Cool Arrow and Edgemont Road, it will be him as well, as he's the main closer from stocking position. Can definitely get it done. Got it done actually last time in a race. He closed well enough 2 back in order to win at this distance at Tampa Bay. So if there's a closer in this race that I like, it's definitely number 5. I'm going 2, 6, and 5. 2 on my top. Number 2, Cool Arrow to get the win. 6 and 5 to be second and third.
And I will mention as well that just so you know, all the picks, we're going pretty fast because it's a lot of picks on
post
a
them
stake
on
days,
the tweet,
but they'll all be posted on the Twitter account. Joy, what's the Twitter account for our picks besides Fans of Horse Racing? You have an overall wagering site.
Well, yeah, so Joey's VIP wagers, you can come to me. I'll post them as well, but they'll also be on, we'll put them in the description of this video on Fans of Horse Racing Twitter page, obviously. Also, where we got their stake races, so you got stake races at Golden Gate. We got Golden Gate Jockeys fan page. We'll put it there, because obviously jockeys are going to be a big part on getting our horses
by tomorrow, I commit to having the fan page up for all of the tracks that you're talking about.
All right, so there you go.
I think we got 2 right now or 3, but we'll get them all up.
All right, so there you go. So we'll have many pages you can find it on, and hopefully you do, because like I said, we've been talking a lot. I've been talking kind of fast, so we want to make sure you do get them clearly. But we want to get through so much action. Horse racing in our show is like nothing. It's just incredible. All right, well, the last stake race for us is going to be out at Santa Anita, one of the tracks we have not been to. We have been fans of it, obviously, for a long time. It's one of the most beautiful tracks I heard in the world. I've never been, but
we're gonna get there.
One day we'll get there. We'd love to get there one day. It's hosted so many big races. Obviously, has a lot of the top trainers and jockeys out there. It's
and I'll jump in right now. One of the best handicappers that we've watched when we were in the States. We watched her a lot on America's Day at the Races, I think it was.
America's Day at the Races, yes.
And Michelle Yu, here's what we like about Michelle, is that her husband's a trainer.
Correct.
So what we found when we watch Michelle, and we watch her every day for her picks and that, is that she has insight sometimes that I never hear anybody else talk about. We cashed $140 ticket with one of her recommendations one day at 50 or 60 to 1. And she talked about the depth of the turf. And I had never even thought about it. And she talked about the horse was coming from one track, and the turf was a certain height, and then she going to a track where it was different. So anyway, check out Michelle. Shout out to Michelle that you need to watch the Santa Anita program with her on it, and you'll hear stuff like when she was on America's Best Races. The guys on there argued with her like several times, and she beat them every single time.
I think
anyway, we love Michelle. Yeah. We bet her picks. Take a watch of the show that she does, and she also put some poster picks on Twitter and hit a pick 5 yesterday or something you were mentioning to me. So
I don't know, but yeah, she's a great handicapper. I think one thing she taught me anyways just from watching her was a horse going back to its favorable distance, going back to its favorable track. That's how she hit that 60 to 1 shot one day. She really treats the animals, so well, and like humans, that she understands them, I think. And she goes, oh, this horse would love to get back to this distance, love to get back to this dirt, and love to get back to this track and all that stuff. And then that horse went on to win at long odds. And it's so true, because we'd feel the same way. You'd feel the same way at home. If you were playing something, you get back to your home, you just feel more comfortable. Back to something you're good at doing, you feel more comfortable. So I've just sort of used that definitely in my mindset as well. Horses going back to tracks they've been successful at, getting that jockey, getting that groom, all these things, getting that stall that they love, and going on and racing well. So we've definitely learned.
Why are home teams so prevalent in sports? Like you say, they get to sleep in their own bed. They're comfortable with surroundings. All of a sudden, you can't figure out why they can get beat by a team at their home and then come back and beat that same team. So horses are no different. They love getting around the people that they know.
Yeah. All right. So I got a long shot alert in the Santa Anita one. This is very difficult to handicap. The morning line favorite's only 7-2. I don't really see anything super strong. I think you're going to get lots of value here. So if you're able to hit this race, congratulations, because you're probably going to get a pretty big ticket. You got top jockeys all over the board on long shots, so I definitely included that. But I took number 8, Amuse, with Drayden Van Dyke, top jockey here. And the reason why is this horse has just been consistent. He's been a top 3 machine. I like a horse like that. Their time.
ATM. Love those top 3s.
I'm hoping his time will come. It's funny. Normally, as I've said before, and I said it one time, I think about Golden Gate. I didn't like a horse that finished second a bunch of times. Well, I'm going to take a shot here because he does get top jockey, and because he's been second, third. And in a race where I can't really decide, I'll go with him maybe to potentially find the right path to victory this time and get past the finish line. I don't think the horse is shy of victory. I think it can get it done for sure at 6 years old. It's been consistently on the board, only 2 wins and 11 starts though. So it's tough, but I am going to go with it here. I definitely think it could be a win, play, show material. He's 8-1 morning line, so whatever you want to do across the board might work. Exotics might work, but I think Drayden Van Dyke just might have enough maybe to get him done. He's going to be in the middle of the pack here, and will hopefully come off and then probably grab a close one at Santa Anita in this big stake race. So that's what I'm hoping for, but it's a very difficult race. Just know it's been consistent.
Yeah.
Amuse will be there. Amuse might pull off the upset. It's definitely going to be in your exotics. Consistent top 3 player. Number 1, Meredith for Bob Baffert. You might as well call this Bob Baffert Stakes. He's got 3 horses in this race. We don't personally like when a trainer gets that many horses in a race.
We had a little bit of that issue in the summertime with Woodbine as well. 2 and 3 of the same trainer's horses in there. But you can't do anything about it. These guys are good. They're popular. Let's face it, the sport is about owners. Just in case no one paid attention to that, they buy the horses. They pay the expenses. I saw a chart of everybody involved in a horse as we were dealing with some issues here with Woodbine and the government and COVID. And someone did up a nice chart, showed all the people who worked for a horse to get a horse to the races. Here's one thing. The owner gets them there. They pay for everything. And they're not all successful. Like, you think you get these big money horses, you think, oh, all owners are making money. I can attest to the fact that not all owners are making money. And I can attest to the fact just buying an expensive horse doesn't guarantee making money. So whenever you get a chance to thank an owner, thank them. Some of them are in a privileged state of life, but you know what? They're keeping this sport going. They keep what you like going. If they don't pay the bills, there is no horse racing. So the person you should be showing your most appreciation to, in my mind, is the owners who keep this sport going and quite often don't get the notice that many other people get.
Totally. So number one here, Marneath, it's going to be the pace in this race. Number one here, 3 wins and 9 starts. Had a third at a higher stake last time out, but it's going to be the pace. It's going to be on the front. She will fly. This filly is 4 years old. Is very impressive. She will get going here and be on the lead. And at the end of the day, again, I always include those horses because the trip can always work out properly. I have noticed since the new whipping rules, front end's pretty strong at Santa Anita. I don't know, it's because obviously maybe it takes a little bit longer for horses to get going from off the pace, but we got a 7 furlong here. I like a horse to go to the front. I'll take it in my exotics, potentially an upset victory, but I have noticed that bias. So if you're handicapping Santa Anita, I'm sure you've noticed the same thing. Unless there's a wind that's stopping the front end, typically it favors it. So be aware when you're handicapping Santa Anita, if front end holds up a lot, and that's why number 8, Amuse, is a stalker, finished second and third so many times, because it's just sometimes so hard to pass that front end horse. So you got the 1 going to the front, the 8's going to stalk. I'm going 8-1, 8 over 1 as my exactor. My third place horse is number 12, Bohemian Bourbon, and here's why. When Maximum Security got disqualified from the Kentucky Derby, I had number 20, Country Roadhouse, simply because Flavian Pratt is one of the top jockeys in the world, and he was on him at like 22-1.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? You got Bohemian Bourbon with Flavian Pratt again, and Michael McCarthy. I mean, you have to ask yourself, why is this combination 20+1? I get it, the horse on paper doesn't look that great, but it's been on a bunch of different surfaces, is back on dirt. Who knows what kind of results it's going to bring? But Flavian Pratt, if anyone can figure it out, in the middle of a race, stuff goes right for them, whatever, he's going to be able to get it home, and at worst, hopefully provide some massive value as the top jockey at the track in our exactas and trifectas. I mean, you cannot leave this off your exotics when the top jockey is on a long shot like this. It's a lot of times he can get in there for second or third, possibly for the upset, but definitely the amount of times I go, who finished second and at 30-1 and ruined my exactor because I had the favorites or whatever, and it's a top jockey. So you cannot miss this, especially in a stake race when you have to assume he had an option of a couple horses. This guy, like I said, doesn't get one horse and he's stuck with it. I mean, I'm sure he had 2 or 3. He's going with a 20-1 long shot from the 12 hole. So, watch out. By race time, he might be 30, 40-1. He might catch that third, might catch second, and really pay off at least on the underneath portion of your tickets. You can include number 12 for sure, Bohemian Bourbon. And by the way, I just noticed my racehorse is the owner.
Oh, really? Oh, cool.
So that's kind of funny.
We own 3, tiny. If you read about it, fun to do it. Doesn't cost you a ton of money, like $500-600.
Yeah.
And you get in, and guess what? You own the horse as much as anybody else. You get the piece of paper, it's legal, and you get to cheer and win the Kentucky Derby and win the Breeders' Cup and all those things. So we've done well there. We got 3 2-year-olds coming up this year we're pretty excited about, and tons of fun. So good to see they've got another one out there.
Yeah, so that race wraps up to be 8-1-12 for me. The 1 will be the pace, the 8 will be the stalker. I'm thinking 8 nips him at the wire, so 8-1-12 in the stake race as Santa Anita. It's the only one they have going. Race 8, so we should know some wind biases, we should know some track biases, and how everything's playing out by then. Might make some adjustments, but that's what I like early on.
Well, and we'll make one adjustment for everybody. This is all done pre-race. Okay, here's one of the tips for you guys. Don't go and grab your coffee. Don't go and grab your beer, your pop, or whatever as the next race is starting to bet. You need to be watching the first bet, especially a stake race. There's going to be a lot of money bet on these races. Early money, whatever term people want to use for it, but be aware, these horses might have been off for a month. The trainer knows that maybe he's going to tune something up, that you're not aware of as a fan. But watch the way to tell. Guess what? If there's more money on it than you think makes sense, like Joey's talking about a 10-1 horse, if he opens up at 1 or 2-1, that trainer feels good about that horse. His owners probably feel good about that horse. This is nothing to do with, this is just they feel good about their horse. And they don't always win, but they will crack a big bet sometimes.
Correct. And in stake, that might only be 10-7, 10-6, right, because of the money. But you got to really, really understand how much money that is. So, at Santa Anita, where they already get big money.
Yeah.
I mean, double that, triple that for a stake race. Any horse that can make a couple point drop is very, very impactful.
So stay near the TVs, on your phone, watch the first betting line, which is usually 20 minutes to post time. And in stake races especially, this isn't about your 10 claimers and this is about big races.
Yeah.
These guys have been prepping for this race.
Yeah.
And you may see 10-1 and all of a sudden it's a 2-1 and you don't know what's going on. Guess what? They just feel great about their horse because he's been training well. Maybe they did some work on him, whatever it is. But keep your eyes on that no matter what Joey's told you. When that first tab comes up there, it's worth a shot. Even if it's 10% what you normally bet. If you see somebody drop and he's going to go back up because they're going to look at the charts and do their own handicapping, take advantage of that. Even a small part, I would say.
Yeah, and I'll even change my picks if I see something like that. So you got to be adjustable, definitely as a handicapper. And I guess what, the best handicappers in the world are trainers. They know what's going on. If they see a front end bias and they know their horse going to the front, they're going to bet it.
They're going to tell the jockey, go to the front. Maybe he doesn't do that all the time.
Right. So, you really, really got to pay attention to that money. I'm glad you mentioned it. It might even be in the middle after their horse goes up. Then
with all the money that's going to be in bet, it's tough to move the needle in the middle of the
follow
end.
it, though.
Yeah.
If you see something that lights up
early,
and you go, man, wasn't he 8-1 morning line? Now he's 4-1. Really pay attention to that and understand what that means. That means the trainer is probably handicapped himself and gone, look, the track's doing this, we got it. Or my horse is in such good shape right now. I'm loving him. I'm just feeling good. Whatever.
Well, and if a horse had a couple bad, not bad, but poor races, let's say, coming off the pace, there's no mystery to the trainer might try to put him on the front end today, right? And we're like, oh my God, how did they win? All this kind of stuff. They're strategizing races just like you are, and just like football teams are, and how Tom Brady can beat KC and all these kinds of things. Strategy matters, and that's what might happen. All of a sudden you're so upset and all that kind of stuff, but why wouldn't a trainer try and change something if he hasn't had the best last couple of races? So just be aware of that. And the early money is the telephone to the trainer. Everybody that they know is getting sold. Oh yeah, I picked it. Go with this horse. He's our horse. We love him. And when owners get that, they tell everybody they know because they want to win the big race. But there's just that kind of information available, and it's usually bet early because those people are involved in the horse and want to be in the walking ring, at the paddock, all this kind of stuff. So they usually bet early, and that's where you'll see the cash.
Definitely. That's it for us. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the show. We hope you enjoyed it. We hope we'll be reporting back on wins tomorrow and Sunday as these races get going. But we're real juiced about the show. We hope you enjoyed it. We take feedback. We're on Twitter. Yeah. Go ahead and give us a comment if you want to see something different than what we're doing. It's a brand new show for us. So
yeah, first show, so be gentle. If we talk too fast, you can just say, hey, you talked a little too fast. You don't need too much criticism, but we love doing it. It was so much fun today. We'll get better every day. That's our goal, obviously, and our goal is to pick winners for you too, and just give you tips along the way. Share some cool stories and enjoy horse racing as we all love the sport, obviously.
And if you can for us, if you can retweet our tweets, if you like them, we really appreciate it. Spreads the word out about all the positivity of the sport. Also, if you're in a position of talking to any of the jockeys and drivers, tell them to get on Twitter because we like to promote them. And we can't promote a lot of guys because they have no Twitter handle. So we like to get people doing that as well. And then all the fans, come on board. I mean, we are searching every day for stories. You don't have to go to 12 different websites to try and find information. We're trying to find it all for you up front. So come to Fans of Horse Racing on Twitter, and we've got a lot of interesting stories. So we're going to cut it there. Joe, great show, great handicapping. I love doing the guest hosting thing because this is way too much work. I always let Joey, he's a young guy, I always let him do our handicapping wherever we're going. So you're going to get some good information here for sure, and we're going to wish you the best to come out with a big profit by Monday.
Definitely.